Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to tonight's edition of the Frisco Report. All right. This tonight we're basically going to talk about the news of the day. Um, we'll see if Mike joins us here in a minute. He's tied up right now, but we'll see if he makes it in. If not, we'll be running solo tonight. All right. So basically, we're talking about this conversation here, right? So Sean Payton is available now. He's walking away from football. And for me, I think that we won't see any real action on this until 2023. All right. There's a lot of speculation that, he's walking away. Somebody will get him this year. I mean, that's always possible, right? It's even possible for the Cowboys. Any team that needs a coach right now, if they're if they have a capable owner, they're going to ask. They will ask, hey, are you interested in coaching our team? And if that's the case, you know, that's where the compensation is going to come into play, right? So you, it's more likely that this is going to be 2023 because I just don't. If you watch the press conference, I watched it from beginning to end. I want to get a tone and feel for what Sean Payton was talking about here. What if he gave any clues? And there were some clues in there. One of them was that he absolutely doesn't feel like coaching this year, but that doesn't. And then he also mentioned that he doesn't want to call this a retirement. He said that it's weird to call it a retirement. It's not a retirement. He's walking away. So that second clue meant to me that he's going to be back in 2023. So that's the question. Does somebody bring him in this year? I don't know. I don't know if that'll happen. I think if they do that, it'll kind of make him look like a fool. Like, oh, I said all this stuff, all this heartfelt, outro, for the team, and here I am sneaking off and joining this. Other. I think Peyton is a little bit more of a man of his word, or this sort of thing. So I really don't see him backtracking like that. You know what I mean? I think he holds himself very accountable as far as like how people see him. You know what I mean? So that being the case, man, let's just go by the hypothetical theory that he comes back in 2023. All right, let's just work with that working theory, okay? Because that's kind of how I think this is gonna go. Takes the year off, right? 2022 goes into the studio or whatever. And by the way, if you missed my video on the roadmap to the future staff, I did one about 8 or 9 days ago, kind of semi predicting some of the stuff that we're talking about. So I'll have a link here, a card here in the video. Go check that out. So here we are, man. I've talked about this, and this is where we're at. So 2023, supposedly now here's where we need clarity. All right, here's where we need clarity on the contract. I've heard that it's 1 year remaining with 2 years of the club option, and I've heard that he has 3 years, 3 full years remaining. So need to get clarity on that. If it's just 1 year with two additional club options, then hypothetically, he would be clear, you know, and off the books, off that next one. So 2023, you might be able to get into this without using any draft picks. But if not, you may have to give something up, right? So my question to you is, first off, are the Cowboys ever going to win another Super Bowl? Do you feel that we're on the path to a Super Bowl right now with Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore? There's reports that Kellen Moore didn't do so well in some of these interviews. Some committee reviewed it and said that they didn't feel that he was a leader of men and this sort of thing. Like, he's not going anywhere, unfortunately. It looks like we're stuck with idiot Kellen Moore. And man, to me, that's almost a death blow. It's almost a death blow. So there's Mike. So it's almost a death blow to me, man. So you have Kellen Moore, looks like he's coming back. Mike McCarthy, you know, and that sort of thing. So Dan Quinn, might leave. He's got a lot of interviews. Nobody has picked him up yet. So my thing for you guys is, you know, if you have this looming outside the organization that Sean Payton could be available in 2023, either free and off the books or some sort of trade, do you feel that this Cowboys organization is going to have a lame duck season where the Cowboys, just go into cruise control? If you're a player on the team and you're like, well, this guy's only going to coach us for another year, the real coach will be here in 2023. I don't know if I'm going to give it 110% or jack up my body. Let me just coast through the season. You come out of 2022 with a, 6 or 7, game season or something like that. Do you guys feel like this team is more inclined to being in a lame duck situation? If that's the case, let me know what you guys think about that. Mike, welcome to the broadcast. Appreciate you, bro.
What's going on? Salute to Blue Silver. Salute Blue Silver. Yeah, dude. So we're on the topic of Sean Payton, right? Here's my thing, man. Here's my thing. Has a head coach
Shout out Space Cowboy.
ever won a Super Bowl with two different teams? The answer is no. The NFL's been around over 100 years, and it's never been done. Sean Payton had Drew Brees many, many, many years, and he didn't get it done but one time, and that was his second or second year in New Orleans, right? Mike McCarthy did it a long time ago, 4 years later, right? After the Saints did it, 12 years ago. Mike McCarthy, I don't know if he can win Cowboys Super Bowl, right? What's up, Mario? So my whole thing is we do it with free agents. This came up a couple of years ago with Sean Payton, Joe, and it's water under the bridge for me, dude. It really is. It really is. I get it. Sean Payton's a great coach. He was a coordinator here under Bill Parcells, but he already won his Super Bowl with this team. It's hard to win Super Bowls with two different teams. It's never been done in the National Football League. And so are we you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah. Nah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, obviously that's going to be the thing, right? Like no coach has ever won this in this sort of amount of time, but at this point, the odds of that versus the odds of the Cowboys winning another Super Bowl, period, I think it's kind of close, because it's like, when are we going to win another Super Bowl? Are the odds better that one of these coaches will win a Super Bowl for you, or are the odds that you'll never win a Super Bowl? I think at this point, 26 years going on now here without a Super Bowl, I think that it kind of offsets, right? I mean, that's kind of how I look at it, but I understand what you're saying for sure. I think Space has got a good point here too. I think the Cowboys want Sean Payton. They might as well get it over with and get done with. But what's more important, as long as the front office keeps its hand off the team, like does nothing change? Yeah, so that's the thing, right? So, and I think that's a great point, because if you're talking about bringing in Sean Payton, he's more of a guy that likes to have a little bit more control over the personnel, right? So how will that affect the setup here with Will McClay, Sean Payton? Are you looking at Sean Payton's taking a step back and taking some concessions, or what? How do you guys feel like that would work out if that were such a scenario? Do you think that would work out, Sean Payton and a Will McClay situation?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Ivan did have a super chat here, Joe. He said, "I want Kellen Moore out just because he's a good play designer. It doesn't mean he's a good play caller."
Yeah. No, we'll get to that, guys. Let me know what you guys think about that, though. I like that. That's an important question. Do you guys feel confident that Sean Payton would be able to work with Jerry Jones, Will McClay, the front office, and make this thing work, right? Because Bill Parcells, he comes from the same tree, obviously, and he's got a lot of. I'm almost pretty sure he consulted with Bill Parcells on this situation, right? Very close, comes from that Bill Parcells tree. So, guys, do you think you'll be able to work with this front office? You know what I mean? Let me know in the comments what you think. Ivan Sanchez, I want Kellen out just because he's a good play designer. It doesn't mean he's a good. I don't even think he's good at that, bro. Like honestly, I said this. I've said this. I've tweeted this jokingly, but I really think this is the situation here, right? If you think about how this guy became the offensive coordinator, right? Your third string quarterback. Hey, let's make you the offensive, coordinator. Let's make you the offensive coordinator. Let's say that you're an offensive genius, and that's it. That would basically be like us right now saying, hey, Will Greer, our third backup, you're no longer the third string back. You're the offensive genius, bro. You're the offensive coordinator, and we're going to push that out there, and we're going to rock and roll. That's what they did, bro. Like, Kellen Moore doesn't know crap, bro. Third string quarterback. I'm done with the bullshit, bro. Like, for real, bro. Like, if Kellen Moore's here doing the play calls this year, I mean, we might be competitive, but him versus like, Vic Fangio, right? Kellen Moore versus, Leslie Frazier, bro, versus any top end defensive coordinator, he ain't gonna win. I'm sold to that by now. I've seen enough of the Garrett type of stuff, bro. They're they're trying to be like North Turner, and that's a different era, bro. You can't do that in today's NFL. You know what I'm saying? That's just my thoughts.
No, 100%. I 100% agree. And I wouldn't even call him a good play designer
Yeah.
because what did he open up for Amari Cooper? What did he open up for CeeDee Lamb? What has he opened up for Tony Pollard? Screens? That's what you can open up for a guy that played wide receiver in Memphis, that played running back at Memphis. Like, that's all you can do with him. Cedric Wilson, a pass back, and Cedric Wilson hit a deep ball. You can't scheme around him. Noah Brown has all the potential in the world. You can't scheme around him. When you got pieces in place, we were missing Amari Cooper. We were missing Michael Gallup most of the year. And the offense was stagnant. It was stale, right? Because he's not a good play designer. He really isn't.
Yeah.
And his game plans. What does he even watch game? Like, when have you ever seen us tack a 500 or better team? When? Well, sure, we can attack the football team. We can attack the Eagles. We can attack the Giants. We can attack Atlanta Falcons. We can attack the guy sitting on the couch from week one. But we really can't attack good teams. Yeah, we beat the Chargers. Do the Chargers make the playoffs? Who did we lose to? Raiders, playoff team. Broncos. We lost to the Broncos, and they didn't even get a chance to even smell a playoff berth. Right?
Yeah.
Patriots, playoff team. Arizona Cardinals, playoff team. You can't scheme around Amari Cooper. You can't scheme a play action game for Dak. Like, you can't get your offensive line in place. You can't get your offensive line in place and scheme around them. Like, it was a disaster. Sure, we beat the Patriots, but after we beat the Patriots, they went on a run. They were finding their identity with their rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
You're supposed to beat that. You're supposed to beat that. A rookie quarterback. I don't care if you're playing Bill Parcells. I don't care if you're playing Bill Belichick. You're supposed to beat a rookie quarterback. Congratulations, Kellen Moore. You barely beat him. And if it wasn't for the defense, I don't think we would.
Yeah, the defense really bailed us out on, especially on that second half, and really throughout the season, really. So, but that still needs some more work. It's a young defense. I'm hoping we keep Dan Quinn, but it doesn't look like it. So yeah, man, Kellen Moore is holding the team back. If there's we have this divide with the fan base of Dak I don't like Dak or I do like Dak. But having Kellen Moore does not help in either really case because then you got an incompetent offensive coordinator. So you gotta put that in the equation as how much is it Dak's fault, and then you on the other side is he's not a good offensive coordinator. So you know what I'm saying? Like that they gotta rip, they gotta get rid of Kellen Moore. And I just it looks like he's stuck there. About Space Cowboy, yeah. This is something I was talking about earlier. Whenever we have some drama that is hanging over the team, we always crap the season. And that's really how I feel this thing will go, right? Because if you start the season, what who knows? The season how it's going to go, right? But if you start the season kind of rocky, oh, Sean Payton's out here. He's out here. We just got to get through here. You you stumble through the season. You probably stay somewhat competitive. 8 wins. Maybe you're, at 500 or below or whatever the hell. But then it's like, okay, let's quit the charade. Sean Payton, you're the coach. Let's see what you can do here. So it's going to be kind of crazy to see what happens here. To be honest, because we know how the Cowboys culture is, man, and it's a Jerry Jones culture, man. Right? I've said this a couple of times where it's so deeply ingrained that the players they know that they can get away with certain things, and that's why I feel like if that's looming or it's in the back here, the players they won't be completely bought in because they already know like, hey, well, you know for what this guy's not going to be here. You know what I mean? It would be like I saw somebody said this earlier somewhere. It might have even been Space, but it was like I think it was Space that tweeted something on Twitter as far as like imagine being on the job and somebody was saying hey, we're going to replace you here after a year. Are you going to give it all? Are you going to give it your whole 100%, or are you going to be checked out? So it's it's something to consider, man. It's something to consider for sure. Let me see what else we got here in the chat box, guys. Appreciate that. Um, Ivan, appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate the super chat. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's what it is. We're just talking about this sort of thing. But for me, and going back to Sean Payton, would he be able to work with the front office? I think absolutely he would. You know what I mean? Like I think Mike McCarthy I think he's done a good job working with Will McClay. They brought in his type of players that he wants in here. The defense and they've really transformed the defense in almost one draft. In this year two draft. So if things go the way that we think Jerry Jones is going to do it, I think that he could work with him and they'll find a way. You know what I mean? But Bill Parcells said that when I think like they asked him about joining the Cowboys back in the early 2000s, and it was like, hey, who doesn't want to be on Broadway, right? Who doesn't want to be on Broadway with the big lights? And I think that Sean Payton in his press conference, he likes these new type of experiences, right? He really said that several times in his interview, and that just gives me another feeling that yeah, there will be other offers possibly, like other other teams, right? I mean, the Raiders, Giants, whoever, but it's not the Cowboys. It's not Broadway, like you know what I'm saying? Like it's not the headliner. I mean, it's the Cowboys, the most prolific, expensive team in all of sports. You know what I mean? And but no Super Bowls, no Super Bowls to show for it, man. So I wouldn't blame Jerry to try to do it, man, because I mean this has been too long without a damn Super Bowl here, man. So, Mike, how would you feel about it actually? Like, let's say they go through the season 2023, and it does come up. What would your How would you feel as far as like okay, Jerry's at least trying something here. Maybe this is the the year, or is it more of the same? Like, how would you feel?
It's more of the same crap, man, because we hype up players, we hype up coaches. I remember the Lincoln Riley hype for the NFL, right? I mean, we hype all this stuff up, and I, Sean Payton, like, and this is what I want them to do with Mike McCarthy. He has a lot of experience in this. He's won a lot, but he also had Aaron Rodgers, right? But we all seen them lose to the 49ers, which, guys, I do apologize. Last week I said there's no way the 49ers can beat the Packers. Boy, was I wronger than ever. So I just want to make sure I'm clear on that. They got it done, right? So, you know, I just want Mike McCarthy to come in here, build some pieces, look at the draft, look at free agency, right? Mike McCarthy, Will McClay, they got together, they made it work, right? So take that, build on it. And then if it fails again, Mike McCarthy's teaching somebody else something, right? For Will McClay to grow his pad, and like 1980 said, the classroom, right? Teaching them new stuff in the classroom. And then you get that new coach in here, that fresh, new, energized coach like a Sean McVay, right? Sean McVay, I seen a clip on him where, they were like, fourth down, this team at this time, and he told you to play. Kellen Moore can't do that. He's a fraud, right? So bring a coach in like Sean McVay that's very smart with football, not where people think they're smart at football, that is very smart at football. Kyle Shanahan, for that matter, right? Look what he's doing over there with Jimmy Garoppolo. Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay. We need a coach like that here. Mike McCarthy, I don't see where he motivates people. Sean Payton, I don't know where he motivates. Dan Quinn, hell, he's never won a Super Bowl with anybody. I bet he can get us to a dang Super Bowl. He got the Falcons to a dang Super Bowl, right? So I don't buy the whole Jerry and Sean are best friends. Jimmy and Jerry are best friends. They got 3 Super Bowls out of Jimmy's product, right? But it went south. How quick? What's Sean Payton's patience like, right? And what's Jerry feeding him? Because it could be Jason Garrett 2.0 with all this buddy stuff, man. Because Jerry was all business, Jerry was friendship, and then they bumped heads, right? Bill Parcells was business, Jerry wanted friendship, bumped heads. If Sean Payton comes in here, is it all business? Their best friend is going to be Jason Garrett 2.0.
Yeah, no, for real. It's there's always that friendship, business going on in the background. That does give you some hesitation. Yeah, that Mike Shanahan tree is legit, man. Space, I agree. That crap. And that's where if you look at the remaining teams, right? You look at McVay. You look at obviously LaFleur got knocked out, but LaFleur, McVay, Shanahan. I mean, those guys, they've been able to adapt to the current NFL, faster players, but still keeping it fresh. Like they're able to incorporate the RPOs and keep defenses on the gas, right? Kellen Moore and these guys, yeah, Kellen Moore, number one offense, this and that. But where did that get them? It didn't get them anywhere. And at the end of the year, when the things fell apart, they didn't mean crap. So I absolutely don't like that little argument of, oh, well, in the beginning of the season, the number one offense and this and that. Like,
it don't matter. It got you nowhere.
We're talking about how the season ended and did this offense show up? I tweeted during the playoffs, does offense win championships? Because damn, it sure looked like it, because these defenses weren't stopping anybody. Josh Allen matriculating the ball down the field, scoring. Patrick Mahomes turning. It was a slugfest. And I was like, could we have done that, bro? Like,
okay, Joe, you brought up a dang good point. How many 5-yard passes did you see in that thing? What was the route tree like? Was it 15 cuts? Was it 10 cuts? Was it 20 cuts? Like, was there anything thrown at the line of scrimmage? How much of it was deep passes?
Man, it was fun. I loved it. It was a good mix of mid to deep passes. It was one of the best divisional rounds, right, that I've ever seen. And not only was it that game, but also the game with Brady and Stafford. I thought that was another crazy nail biter of a game. You know what I mean? But the offenses, they really took hold of those two wins. You know what I mean? I think the defenses, you know, I think that adage of defense wins championships has kind of gone to the wayside in the current NFL. You know what I mean? It's a passing league, right? But what the Cowboys want to do is we want to establish the run, then we want to pass, then we want to do play act. Like, what is the identity? It seems like it's whoa. What is it? Are we going to throw the ball 50 times a game, or are we going to establish the run and then open up the pass? Like it's the offense is kind of wishy washy. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like there's an identity right now. And I think it's with that offensive line. They got to fix that number one in the offseason before we get ahead of ourselves to 2023. For this season, that offensive line needs to be fixed. First number one, and that's it, because these guys they ran out of gas, and it's time to get some new horses in there, man. Some new horses up there blocking. You know what I mean? You got to give Dak full protection. You know what I mean? Because I don't know that he's fully recovered from the injury. The calf strain, was it a strain? Was it a tear? We'll never know. The Cowboys like to hide all kinds of shit from us, right? So how will he look? How will he look moving around? You know what I mean? So what I really loved about Dak Prescott in his earlier years is pre-injury, his legs, man. That was another dimension to the offense. That injury took that away this season. There was no more RPO. You couldn't sell the RPO because he's not going to run with it. It's going to still go to Zeke or Pollard. So they couldn't sell the RPO when they chose to do it, which was they didn't even run it that often this year, right? So we got to see, where Dak is physically, this coming season. But that offensive line has to be fixed. We can't have him running for his life and Zeke and Pollard getting blown up in the backfield. You do need to get another running back in here. You know what I mean? That Zeke knee injury, that scares me. I think once you get the knee injury, Mike, that's you're never going to be the same. You know what I mean? We're talking about a PCL, right? So, what's your thoughts on the offense moving forward? Mike, and everybody in the chat room. Because it looks like we're going to be stuck with Kellen. What are your number one fixes on offense to maybe at least try to help out?
No, 100%. You got to fix your left guard position. I mean, we could be the number one offense, but we can't. You can't lead the league in penalties. You see what I'm saying? Like, all that's fun and dandy, and when people try to say, I don't get the more hate, we're number one this, number one that. Did you not see the offense against the Broncos, the Raiders? Did you not see the offense against the 49ers, the Cardinals? Like, that's what Kellen Moore gets you. It's not consistent, Joe. It's not a consistent offense. You got to build the identity. And if passing the ball is going to be your identity, then you have to scheme more than 5-yard routes. If running the ball is identity, you got to get you some pass protectors and you got to get you some run blockers, right? You got to fix the left guard. You got to evaluate center, make a trade, get a veteran here. Hell, I would even mind calling Joe Looney back, saying, hey, you done selling our merch? You want to play center again? Because it wasn't that bad even with Joe Looney. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Lyle Collins, I don't know if it was – I mean, he had a Pro Bowl snub year last year. This year, he fell flat on his face. Do you have to have the talk with him, right? Like, right tackle, left guard, and center. You got to fix it. Will it get fixed in the draft? Will it get fixed with Fournier having a year under his belt? Will it get fixed with Josh Ball coming off a redshirt year? There's pieces in place here. Connor McGovern, does he improve? Can he be a left guard instead of a right guard? Like Terrence Steele, how does he improve year over year with his third year? Like, there's a lot of things. You don't have to necessarily fix it in the draft, but if you want to get better, you absolutely have to get Connor Williams out of there. You absolutely have to.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't think they'll bring him back. I think he's commanding, the projections are anywhere from $8 to $10 million. And I
They can
just don't think
he
the
can go steal it
Cowboys,
somewhere else.
the penalties, right? Like you mentioned that the penalties is really, it sets you back down in distance for the Cowboys. It's hard to overcome, a 1st and 15 versus a 1st and 10, a 2nd and 20 versus a 2nd and 7. Like we got so many plays wiped out because of that left side. It was really the primary guys that were doing it. You know what I mean? I don't know the exact breakdowns, but so many times we heard, Connor Williams called up, Tyron Smith, but not good offensive line. Everybody, I see a couple names here talking about Joe Philbin. I'm absolutely on board with this guy not being here. I've mentioned Mike Munchak. There's other guys out there that maybe you could steal. Maybe Tom Cable. He's another good one. People have mentioned Bill Callahan, but I think the Cowboys burned that bridge when they used him as the scapegoat. You know what I mean? When Garrett
And
was,
they stripped him from play calling.
yeah. So they burned that bridge there with him. I loved Bill Callahan as the offensive line coach, but he won't be back. But I think I don't think you could come back with Philbin, and that's one of McCarthy's guys, right? So can they break that? And can they bring somebody else in here better? And hopefully that'll be the case, because if it's the same old guard on offense, Kellen Moore, Philbin, this sort of thing, it's going to be a very long season. You know what I mean? April Showers, good to see you in the chat box, super chat. Cowboys always keep it interesting. I don't know what will help with the Cowboys at this point. Peyton won't hurt. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that April. Like he won't hurt, right? And just the way that this team ended this year, there was so many questions about McCarthy. So I definitely feel the fan base, man. I definitely feel the fan base where they want something already, right? But and this throws another another element into the season. It's going to be another wild ride. You know what I mean? We'll see what we do, but it's definitely going to be another wild ride with Peyton name looming out there. So we'll see what we do in the draft. Offensively, we got to get that fixed. We got to get that fixed, man. That's for sure. Somebody said Tyler B. Yep, Darren's. I agree with you, man. Mike, you mentioned it. Matt Forniak. I think you and I liked him in the preseason. You know what I mean? And he got a shot here in that Philly game and really opened up the hole. And for Clement, you know what I mean? Or was it Pollard? I think it was Clement or Pollard. But I liked how he looked, man. And I think you gotta open that up for competition, like legitly. You got a year and a half look at Tyler B, and to me, he looked plateaued. I didn't see anything better from him, man. You know?
No, no, he doesn't. He's from Wisconsin, but his name ain't Travis Frederick. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Not everybody that comes out of these Big Ten factories are legit. There's always going to be the guy, and he is a 4th round pick. He had some accolades, but I just don't think that he's. I think you can do better, right? And I've always been one of these guys that if you can do better at a position, go for it, upgrade it. You know what I mean? Don't stick with the same mold. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Great
No,
comments,
it's
great comments in the chat box, guys. Appreciate everybody that has showed up tonight. Yeah, Zerline, he's got to go. Who said that? So this thing is going by 1,000 miles an hour. Yeah, GMG 254. Don't forget about Zerline. Yeah. Now, if they keep him here, bro, this would make the buddy system like fully entrenched, right? Because he has to go. Greg Zerline cost you a couple of games, momentum. When these guys miss the field goals, they can take the momentum and they can give you the momentum. I mean, look at the kickers in this divisional round. McPherson from the Bengals, those guys were kicking field goals left, and that guy was awesome, right? So he kept that momentum on the Cincinnati side, making those field goals. So But if your guy starts missing these field goals, you make a long drive, all right, and you miss a field goal, it's deflating, bro. You know what I mean? Like Zerline's got to be out of here. They got to get him the hell out of here. He sucks. Peg legs got to go. Yeah, yeah, he does. Chairboy, yeah, man, I'm with you, bro, and I think most fans really want him because we've seen it, right? We've seen it, and like I mentioned earlier, him versus these top tier defensive coordinators, he ain't it, bro. He's not gonna be it. It's training on the job again, like we did with Garrett. Like I said, they randomly plucked this guy out and said, "You're an offensive coordinator, you're an offensive genius." That's the narrative, and everybody will buy it. Well, fans are smarter now. You know what I'm saying? They're not buying the BS. We're not buying that. You know what I mean? Like nobody wants this guy back, bro.
No, dude. And I never liked Kellen Moore to begin with, right? When they signed him as an offensive coordinator, check that video out. It's up there. When they made him offensive coordinator, the videos there. I've never liked Kellen Moore in that position. I gave him a chance, and he fell flat on his face many times. And what I don't get, Joe, and you talk about the buddy system, how is it we can have an entirely different coaching staff, a 40% roster turn, and yet the violin plays the same sound, and all it says is one and done. That's the violin. It's all because there's a buddy system and there's no structure. I mean, the violin, one and done, because there's no structure in Dallas. It don't matter who's coaching it. Jerry Jones is obviously the problem. You know, Jerry always talks about the smallest violin in the world. This is the big one yelling, one and done, because that's what it is.
Yeah, it is, man. It really they really need a like cataclysmic change, right? Because like I said, that Jerry Jones culture is just so deeply entrenched. It's hard for these coaches to really fully execute, what they want to do. I mean, even Parcells, he probably had the most power over the personnel and this and that. But even he ran into some issues with the whole Terrell Owens, and then he was like, "You know what? I'm done. That's it." So,
Well,
it makes you wonder, as far as like behind the scenes, Mike McCarthy and would Sean Payton be able to pull it off? You know what I mean? Or is it just going to be the same old? I mean, we get excited, right? We get excited that Mike McCarthy has a winning resume, championship. Sean Payton as well, for the most part. So, yeah, go ahead, Mike. You were going to say something?
Yeah, so, and it happens all the time, dude. 105.3, 103.5, whatever it's called. I don't even listen to it. Like, I hate that radio station because they get Steven on here. They get Jerry on here. They get Mike McCarthy on there. And all three contradict each other. It happened with Garrett. Now it's happening with Mike McCarthy. Like, how do they not have meetings? How can they not be on the same page? They have the same PR guy, but how can they not? How do you contradict yourself with two different coaching staffs? Steven says one thing, Jerry says another, Mike says something completely left field. Like, it's the owners, Joe. It is the owners. And if Steven and Jerry can get off the radio and just have Mike McCarthy on there, I guarantee you this team will be better.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I wouldn't say I hate 105.3 because I like what those guys do. I like how they ask the pointed questions. I think they do a good job. Sean and RJ, I like them. But you hear, the answers, like you said, like, Jerry Jones and Steven, they're just feeding the fans, hope and things like that. But at the end of the day, we're here sitting on the couch, championship conference game weekend, and then we haven't even sniffed that conference game. You know what I mean?
So I don't know. They don't answer any questions. They tried to once, and Jerry got mad and started saying cuss words, got kicked off the radio. And then they'll ask Jerry a hard question. Jerry will talk about a 1923 story, and these guys are like, "What do they talk like?" They don't press anything. They don't ask anything. They don't say, "How do you say this, and your son just said that, and your head coach, like I don't get it, dude. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, they do that thing. You know, it's
Yes, thank
yeah,
you, Space. 103
yeah,
fan goes easy. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
yeah. I think it's an agreement, right? Because it's almost like they have this media agreement, like they have to do these interviews, whether it's the ticket or 105.3 the fan. You know, they make their their appearances, right? And I'm sure they're going to be asked this question the next time they're out there. They're going to be asking, "Hey, so you know, Sean Payton here and there," and these guys are going to give generic answers. I know for a fact Steven and Jerry they're not going to say, "Oh yes, we're going to get him in here." You know what I mean? They're going to keep it ambiguous. They're going to keep the fans tuned in and get ready for the ride because that's what it's going to be. You know what I mean? So, guys, I think that's it, man. I mean, great conversation. You know, we wanted to talk about the Sean Payton discussion. Appreciate everybody's input on it. I think a lot of fans are kind of, you know, wouldn't mind him being here. You know what I mean? But at what cost? You know, there's a lot of questions to be answered. Like I said, I think it will be next year, though. I don't think it's going to be this year for the Cowboys or anybody. You know what I mean? I think the teams that are looking for coaches this year will have a harder time, you know, doing like who would want to get one of these jobs with the Giants or Raiders, knowing that maybe they're going to be out after year one. You know what I mean? So are they going to hire placeholder head coaches? You know what I mean? So let's see how these other job hirings go. You know what I mean? Are they just going to hire placeholders and then try to grab Sean Payton and one and done some of these head coaches for this hiring cycle? For us, I think it's going to be, you know, how do we look? You know, how are we going to play? And it might even. I mean, it's probably going to be, you know, you're on the hot seat automatically. You know what I mean? The furnace is on full blast right now. The furnace under Mike McCarthy's on full blast, right? You can see the flames coming up from the sides because if you don't get us to the Super Bowl, bro, or if you're one and done again, you're out of here. It might not even matter if it's Sean Payton. It might be like, okay, this sucks. Like you're out of here too. So you know what I mean? So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. April, another super chat here, and then we'll close it out, guys. Will McClay has the sweetest job. He doesn't have to be the GM. Has the best approval rating. You're absolutely right, April. You're not on the head there. He's been bringing us a lot of this great talent, but the other guys are not helping us get that talent rings, right? Zach Martin's got to get a ring.
Wearing a star.
Yeah, he's got to get that ring, man. Zach Martin is one of the best players I've ever seen, you know, in all my life. And geez, if we can't get him a ring, I don't think we're ever going to get anybody a ring. So that's it tonight, guys. We really do appreciate you guys joining us tonight for this discussion on Sean Payton. You know what I mean, Mike? Let everybody know where they can find you if they haven't already, bro.
Yeah, Cowboys Corner right here on YouTube and _, Cowboys Corner on Twitter, guys. If you don't have patience and you get all fidgety and get mad, don't follow me on Twitter because I'm gonna make you mad.
Nah, I hear you, man. Appreciate everybody here tonight, man. We'll see you later in the week. I got a lot of draft coverage coming up. You know, we're gonna do some mock drafts. Mike and I, next video, it's gonna be free agency and draft videos here going forward. So that's it for tonight, guys. We'll see you for the next one. Peace, everybody. On one side, but that guy on the other side. The Cowboys, baby.